our sport is to win on every surface, the Grand Slam. And I think to do it all in 1 year is probably one of the hardest accomplishments in sports, period. Watching Rafa win last week in New York was thrilling. I mean, this is something that only happens once in your life, that you get to experience this for the first time. And then, all of a sudden, changing the conversation on who's the best of all time. And, you know, we talked about, over the years, the generations of rivalries that have existed. But to have two of the greatest players of all time, you have Nadal and Federer, and I guess you can always argue Rod Laver, but to have two of the best of all time compete in the same era, and to have both of them win all 4 Grand Slams is pretty special for tennis, and certainly very difficult to do.
Hola, buenos días, Mario Solano de Canal 7. Luego de vivir momentos y partidos muy intensos contra Big Sampras, ¿cómo lo toman ahora? Igual son partidos muy serios, pero siempre está la parte del entretenimiento para todos los aficionados que lo siguieron a lo largo de la década, ustedes los que fueron los mejores tenistas del momento.
Well, yeah, it is a lot of fun, but it's fun because you spent your whole life doing it, and you spent your whole professional career doing it with this one person in many big matches and many big situations. So to be out there again and to feel this, to feel connected as competitors is fun. You know, I like to enjoy. It's important for me that the crowd really enjoys their experience, and we get to play some great tennis, but have a good time. And I think for Pete, it's important that he beats me. So, you know, maybe we both could be happy today.
Andrés, buenos días. Andrés, mi pregunta: ¿qué fue más difícil, empezar a lograr los primeros títulos como profesional o empezar a ganar títulos después del bajón en el ranking de la ATP que se tuvo después de 1997?
One was harder. They were harder for different reasons. I mean, you know, when I first came on the tour, I didn't have a strong love for the game. You know, I resented the sport of tennis. It had taken a lot from me. I lived with a lot of pressure with it. You know, I was sent away from home when I was 13 years old to an academy, and felt like I lost my childhood. I felt like tennis always came with a lot of pressure and drama, and it was never a life that I chose for myself. So it was hard for me emotionally. But I was also good at what I did, so winning sometimes just happened. But when I fell to 140 in the world, I made a choice for myself to finally choose tennis, to choose my life, to take ownership of it. And once I made this decision, winning became secondary. I started to learn to love a sport that I've played my whole life, and I started to connect to it, and I started to enjoy it. But mentally, I didn't believe I was capable anymore. I thought it was over. So it was very hard for me mentally, but I was also very motivated. As you get older, I think sometimes the physical becomes a problem, and then sometimes the mental can become a problem, because you always see the end can be tomorrow, you know. So it was harder for me to win later in my career, but it was more enjoyable.
Buenos días, María Jiménez de la agencia de noticias Papel. Usted mencionó ahora las circunstancias especiales que se dan actualmente de tener a Federer y a Nadal jugando entre sí, dos ganadores del Grand Slam. Pero bueno, es conocido que Nadal está en la cúspide quizás de su carrera. ¿Qué hace a Rafael Nadal en este momento el mejor jugador? Y usted considera que se podría convertir en un jugador o en el mejor jugador de la historia del tenis, considerando la carrera que ha tenido hasta ahora y lo que le falta.
Well, I think you can argue that he's the best player in tennis history now. He's only 24 years old. You know, when you look at these accomplishments, when you look at somebody that's won all 4 Grand Slams, you know, this is what Federer did. But Nadal also won an Olympic gold medal. He's also won Davis Cup a few times. And he's also had a 14-7 head-to-head record over the greatest player to ever play, Federer, during the prime of his career. This is pretty compelling. But history will speak for itself. He's still only 24 years old. He's a number of Grand Slams ahead of pace of what Federer did. And there's a lot of tennis left. But if his career ended tomorrow, I don't think Federer could argue that he's better than Nadal.
Buenos días, Andrés. Después de la participación suya y de Prensa en el debate inicial, Estados Unidos en masculino ha venido menos. ¿A qué se debe esto y cómo mejorar para poder acercar a las figuras ya consolidadas como Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer o Djokovic?
From American players, you mean?
Yeah.
You know, listen, I think if Nadal and Federer played during my time with Pete, I think he'd be asking the same question, what's the matter with American tennis? I mean, these guys are really special, and they have not left a whole lot for anybody else. But with that being said, we've come up some great generations of American players, you know, between Connors and McEnroe and then myself and Pete and Courier and Chang. There's a lot of Grand Slam titles throughout these generations. But the sport has gotten very globally competitive, and it's gotten better. We have some great talent. What Isner is doing is he's making improvements at such a rapid rate, and difficult player to play against, Sam Querrey and a number of others, but the measuring stick is always Nadal and Federer. This is going to always leave us slightly disappointed.
Buenos días, José Pérez de Radio Nacional. La pregunta es para Ashley. Ashley, estuviste en la cúspide del tenis en Estados Unidos, número 1 del tenis en Estados Unidos. ¿Qué hace que una tenista se retire tan temprana edad, mostrando un buen nivel dentro del juego?
Well, I was never number one in tennis. I was always competing with the Williams sisters, but I had a pretty good career for about 5 years, and I never said I was retiring. My plan was to come back after I had my baby, but at this moment there's some delays, but I'm sort of right now really enjoying motherhood and just kind of enjoying being home for once and not having to travel around the world and get on an airplane every single week. And so I'm just kind of relaxing and enjoying, just being a mom. And I'm still 25 years old, so I feel like I have a few more years to decide exactly what I want to do.